What is up, everybody, and welcome to another edition of the Not So Stupid podcast. In today's episode, we are going to be breaking down the only way you can actually fail at your diet. And this is very fitting to be released on a Monday because after the weekend is when most people feel like they failed at their diet. They overate. They said yes to dessert. They had an emotional eating episode. They went over on their calories, skipped a workout, had a few days off track in a row maybe if they went out of town. Were feeling lazy, had some mindless snacking, started repeating some old habits, on and on and on and on the list goes. Maybe you can relate to these, but I know that this is something that on Monday, on Sunday, without fail, I have both clients and just followers alike DMing me, messaging me, asking them what to do once you fail on your diet. And the truth of the matter is, you never actually failed. You didn't actually fail at your diet. You might have had a setback, might not be the ideal plan that you followed, but it's not a failure. A failure isn't about what you did in the moment, in the middle of the process. A failure is an outcome. And this action that you did, overeating, skipping a workout, mindless snacking, saying yes to dessert, any one of those things, they're actions, they're not outcomes. What you do after that becomes the outcome. So you have a choice after that to continue doing what you are, to continue following the old habits, the old behaviors, the negative eating patterns that you exhibited, and go into full effort mode and just eat everything, forget about it, toss the diet aside, basically give up on your diet, or accept that happened because you can't change that it happened, right? It's in the past. You can't go back, rewind, and choose something else. It's impossible. But you can stop, reflect, recognize what happened, learn from it, and move forward and make more positive decisions for yourself. Because even though it feels like a failure, what really makes it feel like a failure is that you're telling yourself that it was a failure. You're telling yourself that you're a failure for not being able to stick to it 100% of the time through these different situations. And our words have a lot of power behind them. And if you repeat that often enough, if you say that in your mind so many times, if you continue to beat yourself down, give yourself guilt and shame, you'll feel only worse and worse and worse and worse, and not actually do anything productive afterwards, right? It puts you in a space where you want to give up even more, even though that's what failure really is. The only time you actually fail is if you decide to give up. Because on the flip side of things, you had one bad meal, let's say, for instance. You could have several bad meals, but let's say you had one bad meal. That didn't make you fat. That one meal didn't make you fat. On the flip side, like I said, if you ate one salad, one really healthy food, that didn't make you skinnier. It didn't make you healthier. You didn't lose weight doing that. It's not the one meal. It's not even a few meals. You have a week of eating salad, a week of eating, ice cream, 5 days a week. Neither of those inherently are making you fat or making you skinnier or losing weight or feeling healthier. 5 days is definitely a bigger sample size than one day, but at the same time, 1 week isn't going to make a dramatic difference. If you fell off for an entire week, you had a really busy week, you're really stressed out, something happened, and you feel like you really fell off track, you didn't fail because of that. That's a series of actions. It's not an outcome. The outcome is what you decide to do after that in response to that. How are you going to respond to this setback that you experienced? Because again, you can't change what you did, but you can change what you're going to do forward. You have full control over the next decision that you're going to make. And if you decide to give up, you decide you're not cut out for this, you decide you are a failure, you convinced yourself that you're a failure, that's all you'll be, because you decided to give up. You convinced yourself that that's what I am. There's no point in doing this. But if you pick yourself up, continue where you left off, because those are really the only two options. Either give up entirely and continue doing the negative behaviors, or switch back to positive behaviors that are actually going to help you lose the weight, keep the fat off, feel healthier. Really the only two options. If you choose to be positive and get right back on track, then you're going to lose the weight again. You're not failing because you're actively making things better. In the grand scheme of things, again, one bad week, one bad day over the span of 6 months, 7 months, a year, however long your fat loss journey is going to be, it's not going to make a huge difference. That's like 1% of your entire fat loss journey. But if you allow yourself to get so caught up in that one decision, in those few moments where you weren't as perfect as you wanted to be, it's gonna feel a lot worse than it actually is. So if you felt like you failed this past weekend, if you felt like you didn't do as well as you felt like you should have done, you had an expectation, you didn't follow through with it, you have the choice to give up or pick back up where you left off. And only one of those decisions are gonna make the future you actually happy. And that's really what you're doing all of this for anyway, is the future you. So you might have had a mess up, you might have had a miscue, but don't make it be a failure. Don't actually give up on yourself. Don't give up on your diet. Don't give up on becoming the better person that you want to be just because things didn't go as perfectly as you wanted them to. So that's pretty much all I had to say. I hope you found this valuable on this Monday afternoon, or if you're listening to this later in the week or several weeks down the line, I hope you found it helpful regardless, because these things are always going to happen. I always tell my clients when we work together, starting off, you're gonna mess up. The expectation of messing up is really important, because if you go in thinking that everything's gonna be perfect now that you hired a coach, everything's gonna be perfect, everything's gonna work out for you, you never have to worry about anything ever again. Once you experience a failure, you're gonna be devastated. But if you know that a failure is coming, right, and this is why I future pace my clients to expect setbacks, to expect going back to your old behaviors. If you know it's coming, it's not gonna hit you as hard. You knew it was gonna happen. You know it's a part of the process, and now you just let it be. You just continue on where you are. So I hope you found this helpful, like I said, and if you would like deeper help in breaking down these habits, if this is something you experience week in and week out and you just can't break out of it, you've been stuck for so long, feel free to apply to a free strategy call with me so that I can help you out. We can find out what's going on with you and how we can climb over this hump together. So thank you again for listening, everybody. Hope you found some peace of mind with this, and share this with a friend that might also benefit. Enjoy your day.